Souls and swords, eternally retold.
I don't know if I just ate shit right there. I'm walking on a treadmill. I worry that the treadmill sound is going to be really loud. I don't know why I thought that would make it more interesting. Let's read my more scripted, unscripted content. This one's about
Soull Calibur II.
unlocking all the Soull Calibur II characters. Last time I did Tekken 4, and I was like, I could do that again with Soull Calibur 2. So I began that journey. And that was a long one, because it is harder than I thought it would be, and longer than I thought it would be. But we'll get into it. Starting with my personal history with Soull Calibur 2. I made this one more of like an essay type thing. Almost kind of looks like a homework assignment. Not going to put it on the screen, but that's what it looks like. Part of why I wanted to switch to, besides the fact that it's the new Nintendo console, was for the app that they made. The GameCube Nintendo Switch Online app. Among the games released with this service was Soull Calibur 2. And this, alongside F-Zero GX being available, was enough for me to want to get one. The GameCube games were the Switch 2 seller for me. F-Zero GX is my favorite GameCube game, and there will never be a new F-Zero game, so this is the best it's going to get for me. Soull Calibur 2 was another game that I loved on the GameCube. I would mess around in it all the time, but overall I remember thinking it was hard. Now as an adult, it's still challenging, but that's only because I'm awful at fighting games, despite my love for them. Story mode I remember being particularly difficult for me. As a kid, I never got past Chapter 3 or something. I think it's the first mission where you face the assassin character. I could not beat him for the life of me. Maybe it was a little bit later, like Chapter 4, because we had Yoshimitsu and Charade unlocked, but that might be all. We being my brother and myself. I'll get to why it matters later. I'm gonna eat shit from doing this, because I'm not paying attention to the treadmill at all. I do remember the exact mission it is, though. It had a spiderweb icon, and you need to fight the assassin on a cage stage, so I couldn't do any ring out cheese. I just looked it up. It was Chapter 4, Stage 1, and you have to make sure the opponent has the bomb before the timer runs out. This was an impossible mission for me at the time. I just went back to find it and did it on the first try. I'm sure I didn't read the stipulation of the mission as a kid, thus, because of this mission, the assassin became my rival, and I still hate him. The Berserker as well, they both annoy me. I didn't even know they were playable characters until making this video. I pretty much always play Maxi with his alternate skin, because I thought it looked cool. I liked Keelik and Charade too. And since Weapon Master mode was too hard, I really just spent most of my time with this game doing arcade mode to see all the characters' endings. I didn't start getting all the characters for the sake of a video initially. The main reason was because I want to do a character tournament for this game, so I need all the characters unlocked to do it properly. Even though I could probably just emulate the game with everything already done, I wanted to try to do it on my own first, because I thought this was something that's achievable for me. Someone, not very good at fighting games, but I thought I could do it. I was just playing through Weapon Master mode because I wanted to. I liked making the Tekken 4 video and wanted to do it again, but wasn't sure what to make the video about. And I was like, well, I'm currently unlocking characters again, so I can just do that again. So I did. When I started recording gameplay, I just needed to unlock Lizard Man, which is the final character. So because of that, I don't have video of the entire process. I also decided then that I could do this with F-Zero as well. My only issue right now is not knowing what games to do after that, but I will cross that bridge when I get to it. This video is about Soull Calibur 2. So how to unlock all the characters? Weapon Master mode. You just play Weapon Master mode, that's it. Weapon Master mode, as I mentioned before, is the game's story mode. There are chapters and sub-chapters with missions in each of them. Each chapter has a shop where you can buy alternate weapons and costumes with the gold you earned. You gain experience and levels. You complete them and follow a story about a vague hero searching for Soul Calibur and Soul Edge. The hero is vague because you can name them yourself, and you can use any character you want. So like the hero is like it's like you the player and whoever you're playing at the time. My name was Fartz with a Z, F-A-R-T-Z. The protagonist is vaguely you, the player. There are different paths you can take and all kinds of stipulations to complete the missions. There are even dungeons, which is what I have recorded since that's all I had left to do to get the Lizard Man at the time. I was saving them for the end because they're so long. In order, the characters you get: Yoshimitsu, Charade, Cervantes, Sophitia, and Sung Mina. Then you can get Berserker, Assassin, and Lizard Man. Lizard Man will always be last, but you can get Berserker or Assassin based on who you want first. Their orders specifically don't matter. However, it is worth noting that you cannot use Berserker, Assassin, or Lizard Man in Weapon Master mode, or most other single-player modes, besides Training mode and Team Battle mode. Probably because they have no story written for them. I mean, that's my guess. They're just like nothing side characters. Anyway, here's the breakdown. And I'm going to say Weapon Master mode so much. WMM. Weapon Master mode. I think we're all going to be sick of that by the time I finish this. Yoshimitsu. Complete Chapter 2 of Weapon Master mode. Charade. Complete Chapter 3, Stage 1 of Weapon Master mode. Cervantes. Complete Chapter 3 of Weapon Master mode. Which means, as a kid, I must have had Cervantes if I was stuck on Chapter 4, Stage 1. So Sung Mina and Sophitia, never got to play as them. Sophitia complete Chapter 4 of Weapon Master mode, and Sung Mina complete Chapter 6, Stage 3 of Weapon Master mode. Those are all the named, like, unique characters that you can unlock, and you can play as them in Weapon Master mode if you want to. The next one, most guides don't give you the whole story, especially for Lizard Man. There's kind of like a secret thing. Let's just get into it. Assassin, complete Subchapter 3, Stage 3. Other guides will say Stage 2 of Weapon Master mode. It's Subchapter 3, Stage 3. Berserker, complete Subchapter 1 of Weapon Master mode. And for Lizard Man, complete every stage in Weapon Master mode. Now, sounds simple enough. The thing about the last three is that you have to beat the extra missions. When you beat Weapon Master mode for the first time, you unlock extra missions, which basically just has you doing the entire thing again on a harder difficulty. So for Berserker, Assassin, and Lizard Man, you have to finish the extra missions, which means to unlock Lizard Man, you essentially have to beat Weapon Master mode twice. There is an additional catch though, and it ended up making this go from an enjoyably hard challenge to infuriating, which not hard for me to get to that point, especially with fighting games. There's a kind of secret subchapter that you can only access after reaching level 72. Your story mode, persona, can level up, get experience, and you can unlock other things through leveling up, like game modes and artwork. But at level 72, you must go back and finish the extra mission for Chapter 4, Stage 3. Once you do that, you'll unlock Subchapter 4, which has 4 missions in it, each with extra versions, so that's 8 more missions total. This is infuriating for a few reasons. Firstly, because Chapter 4 Stage 3 extra mission is hard on its own, so you have to do it twice, unless you save that first attempt until after hitting 72, like if you know about that in the first place, which I did not. Second, it's 8 more missions you have to do after thinking you're finished. Third, and maybe this is just me, but 2 of these missions gave me the hardest time out of any mission in Weapon Master mode, but we can get to that later. Also, there's just no way you would know to do this without looking it up, unless I missed something. Reaching level 72 isn't hard. You'll most likely do it naturally as you play Weapon Master. When I thought I was done before looking this up, I was level 71. So the leveling really isn't an issue. Also, along the way you will unlock other features for the game like extra modes, weapon previews, stages, and theater mode. This game has a lot of unlockables, but I'm focusing on the characters. Unlocking all the characters for this game mostly isn't bad. The 5 real characters, the unique ones, are easy. And the 3 throwaway characters, you can honestly just not do it if you really don't want to. They don't really matter. I mean, they do for the 100%ing if that's the type of person. If you're a completionist, they matter. But if kind of nameless stock characters mean nothing to you, don't bother. I personally do care about the throwaway characters, and I want them to be involved in the Soul Calibur II character tournament, so I had to do it. The process. When I started Weapon Master mode, I was playing as Ivy. I always thought Ivy was cool, and aside from the fact that she is the booby lady, I think her design is cool, and her weapon is by far the coolest in my opinion. It's called a living sword. I always called it the chain sword though. Plus, facing the Ivy CPU was always hard for some reason, so I wanted to give her a try. As a side note, as much as Ivy is the booby lady because of her crazy like cleavage in the game, has anyone else noticed that they gave Taki full-on nipples with areolas? Like, she's wearing a skin-tight red jumpsuit, and you can see just full-on, perfectly clear nipple with areola. I think it's crazy that they did that on purpose. Someone sat down and did that. For some of this process, I was playing while my girlfriend was over, and the first thing she ever said about the game was, why did they give her nipples? That's a fantastic question. Definitely one of the decisions of all time, but I'm not complaining. Oh, hi kitty cat. There's a kitty cat here. She's licking herself. Anyway, playing as Ivy lasted one chapter. I got to the first mission of chapter 2, which asks you to land 20 hits on your opponent before time runs out. I couldn't get it for the life of me. I ended up just looking up a strategy, and it suggested using characters with moves that hit multiple times, like Maxi and Keelik. So I picked Keelik since his range is good. I beat the mission on my first try and ended up using Keelik for this entire process. I did not change the character a single time. I think Keelik was a fantastic choice. I don't know how he ranks among the rest of the cast competitively or on a tier list, but he was easy to pick up. Also, like I mentioned before, you can buy alternate weapons for characters. Keelik has an alternate weapon called the Kunlun Bamboo, and it gives you a small amount of lifesteal when you land attacks with your staff. So the kicks don't give you health back, but anything with hitting them with the staff, and grabs don't count either. This is the weapon I use for like 90% of Weapon Master mode, and it mattered sometimes. There are times when you're doing a dungeon, sometimes you don't get all your health back in between matches, but you can lifesteal it back if you perform well enough. It was very helpful. Eventually you progress far enough. You progress far enough. Eventually you progress far enough where you can buy the Soul Edge weapon variants for all the characters. So I bought all of them, as one does, and I would use Keelix on occasion when I thought a fully offensive strategy was the only way to beat a certain stage. The Soul Edge weapons deal more damage at the cost of health, so I'd really only use it if I thought defense wasn't super worth it or necessary. My only confession with this playthrough is that once I finished Weapon Master mode the first time and unlocked the extra missions, I needed to abuse save states. On the emulation apps for Nintendo Switch Online, you can use rewind feature, and you can use, well, I don't think you can use that for the GameCube, but you can make save states. So for missions where you have to defeat 5 enemies in a row, I would literally make a new save state after each opponent was defeated. I do not think I would have been able to do this without that feature. I'm just not good enough, and I don't think I'd be able to maintain my rage enough to put up with that. Especially the ones where it's 5 in a row and the difficulty's high, and I don't want to sink that much time into the game. I just want to get the characters. With the use of save states, the extra stages mostly weren't too bad. I would honestly go for ring outs whenever I could, and sometimes just got lucky. There was a mission where you needed to have a bomb be on your opponent when the timer runs out. Basically, each hit between the character traded the bomb back and forth, and whoever had the bomb on them when the timer ran out would lose. I was facing Yoshimitsu, and after I hit him once, he just sat down in one of his stances until time ran out. It was like he rage quit the match. Sometimes luck is on your side, and sometimes it's not. There were other times, mainly in dungeons, where my opponent would ring out themselves, especially if the stage was icy. I do have a video of Link full-on jumping off the stage and eliminating himself. Finishing all of the missions is really the hardest part. 7 out of the 8 characters are quite easy to get, and Lizard Man is the hardest. That's what annoys me, is like you could unlock everyone except Lizard Man very easily. But then you'll just have that one missing character, and that would bother me. I don't think I could not care about it. The secret subchapter that I talked about earlier is what broke me. 95% of Weapon Master mode isn't all that bad, especially with save states. Again, I couldn't do this without save states. It would actually be impossible for me. Subchapter 4 broke my mental entirely. Before even getting to the subchapter, you have to finish Chapter 4, Stage 3. Extra mission. This mission is hard on its own, even with the save states. You have to defeat 5 enemies in a row with a small time limit, and you only gain about 15 seconds back in between the matches. So if you defeat the first opponent with 5 seconds left on the clock, you'll only have 20 seconds to beat the next one. And on top of that, you have to beat some really annoying characters. The characters are set too, so they don't get reshuffled when you lose. It's in order: Mitsurugi, Valdo, Taki, Nightmare, and Cervantes. Mitsurugi isn't all that bad. Valdo's Valdo. He's very strange, and in my opinion, he's just always a difficult NPC to fight, or CPU rather. Taki basically just permablocks and guards, so you need to break her guard, but since there's a time limit, throwing is a bad option. I usually just played for ring outs. I honestly aimed for ring out every time because it's so much faster. Nightmare also wasn't that bad. He hits really hard, but for some reason when I got to him, he would always just kind of do nothing. And then Cervantes, who I also think is consistently challenging to face, would block all of my moves and combo me into oblivion. Taki was easily the worst because she would waste so much time, and if time ran out, you would lose whether you had the health advantage or not. So that's just the mission to get to subchapter 4. Then you actually have to do subchapter 4. It is just 4 stages. The missions are very straightforward. All you do is fight certain characters at high difficulty with some sort of stipulation. The 2 that kicked my ass were Cassandra and Taki, the nipple lady. Both of them were difficult to fight in general, but Cassandra would constantly regenerate her HP, and if she knocked you on the ground, you would explode and go airborne, and it would deal crazy damage. There were several times where she hit me one time, and half my HP was gone. And then Taki would do her thing, guard constantly, but my health would slowly drain over time. And I aimed for ring outs on both of these, but the stages didn't have easy ring outs, so you'd basically have to guide the CPU over to the ledge that was in a certain area of the stage, and you have to hope for the best. And you'd have to do this twice. Once on like the normal mode, and then once in the extra mode. The extra part didn't really change anything, it just made it harder. And that's when Cassandra would hit me once for half of my health. I raged very, very hard, and I'm glad that I didn't record this part. I did eventually succeed in ringing them out, and I unlocked Lizard Man. It's a happy ending, and I can do my Soull Calibur II tournament when I finally get around to doing it. I do constantly forget about it though. Oops. And I gotta find someone who wants to do that with me. I don't think I would go back and do this again, and if I did, I would probably stop after getting Sung Mina and just leave those last 3 unavailable. Berserker and Assassin aren't hard to get, but it is time consuming, and you can't even use them in most single player modes. Plus, I would just have that one character slot left blank, and the completionist in me would want it filled. They don't each have their own unique movesets. They each borrow moves from a character that is already in the game, and supposedly ones that aren't in the game, at least according to the wiki. Some of them are obvious. So like Berserker clearly uses some of Astaroth's moves, but also there's a character named Rock who is not in the game, but was in the first Soull Calibur, and apparently uses some of similar like Rock's moves as well. Assassin clearly uses Young Sung's movements, and a character named Huang, who is not in this game, but in Soull Calibur 1 and Soull Calibur 3. Lizard Man uses Cassandra's moveset, and apparently some moves from a character named Aeon, who is also a Lizard Man, funny enough, but is not the Lizard Man. And he's not in this game. He's in Soull Calibur 1 and Soull Calibur 3. I'm not sure if these characters appear in any other game though. Another reason why I wouldn't do this again is because I needed the save states to do it. If I were to do this on an actual GameCube, PS2, or Xbox, I don't think I could. I didn't start using save states until pretty late into my second run through Weapon Master, After I already had 7 out of the 8 characters, I really just used them to get through it, because it was going to be very time consuming and very hard. Some CPUs are noticeably harder than others, at least what I noticed. I thought Maxi and Youngsung were usually free wins. There were a handful of characters that always gave me a hard time, like Berserker, Ivy, Cervantes, Astaroth, and Link. Link always gave me belt to ass whenever I had to face him. Astaroth was probably the worst of them all. As a kid, Assassin was my rival character, but now as an adult, it is definitely Astaroth. He would always whoop me, and I really didn't play many other characters besides Keelik. I tried Ivy at the beginning before switching over to Keelik. Before I even started Weapon Master mode, I used Necrid in arcade just to see what his story was. Then I messed around in practice mode with a few characters for a little bit. I do plan on doing a character tournament for this game, so I will be messing around with the characters to get a feel for them, but I don't know when that's going to happen, and I honestly forgot about it until I started reading this. But that's basically it. Unlocking all the Soull Calibur II characters is... I'm going to say it's hard. I will say it's hard. 7 out of 8 of them. 7 out of 8 of them. 7 out of 8 of them. Sentence has rhythm to it. 7 out of 8 of them are easy. Lizardman makes it hard. The one character ruins it for everybody else. I'd say 7 out of the 8 are a perfectly fine time. And 5 of them are really the named ones that matter. And I feel like the other 3 are bonuses, which I like that games do that. I like when they throw in just the random characters you can play as them. They really don't feel that much different from the other ones. Like Berserker and Astaroth basically play exactly the same. It's nice that it's there. And that's it. Unlocking the characters in Soull Calibur 2. Thank you for watching, and toodaloo. Forgot to mention the microphone. Meow. 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 Why are you meowing at me? The microphone is on a tech deck.